everyone, and welcome to another episode of Los Banos Talk. My name is Justin Collins. Today, I have a special guest with me that I'll be interviewing. Recent appointee to the City Council District 2, Refugio Llamas. And so, without further ado, I'm going to allow him to introduce himself right after a brief message from our sponsor. We live in some rather uncertain times, making safety and reassurance priceless. Biosecurity are your local Central Valley security experts, offering medical alert pendants and video surveillance systems for your home or business. Mention Los Banos Talk and receive a free 4K 1080p HD outdoor camera or free doorbell camera. So ask yourself, how much is your peace of mind worth? Call Biosecurity now at 209-635-1482. Biosecurity, your local Central Valley security experts. And we're back. Thanks for watching.
Well, good morning, Justin. Thank you very much for taking the time to interview me. Thank you, Ms. Vines, for tuning in. My name is Refugio Llamas. I've been a resident here with my wife for since 1992. We moved from San Jose, where I grew up. At the time, like most folks, we moved here because of the lower cost of housing. I commuted for a number of years, about 9, 10 years, to the Bay Area. And also concurrent with that, I was in the Marine Corps Reserves. And as part of the Marine Corps Reserves, I often was called to active duty in support of various operations or support roles with the active duty role with other armed forces branches. My background is in business. My wife and I had a small business here. It was a pet store in the former Kmart shopping center. We had a really good time. However, we just could not compete with the Walmart that had recently opened up. So we had made a decision to close the store. I've dabbled somewhat in business management, business consulting, but I felt that was taking me too far away from my home. Because I really enjoy being home, being with my dogs, my cats, and our pet rat. So I decided that maybe I'd go back to school. I got my business degree in business administration, about one semester short of getting my master's in business administration. And that's one of the reasons why I continue to work over at the former Fort Ord Army base. Very flexible hours, part-time, but it allows me to do my studies. Again, I may go back, I may not. I've now got this wonderful opportunity. I'm blessed to have been selected to fill the remainder of our Tom Faria, who was recently elected to, as you know, to be our mayor. So we'll see how this goes. I intend to put all my energy into it. I intend to learn, to listen, and to apply those things that I've learned to hopefully contribute to a better Los Banos.
Great, thank you so much. And so, for those of you who aren't aware, the reason why Mr. Llamas was appointed to the City Council is mainly because Tom Faria was City Council District 2. He was the council member for District 2. And then, upon winning mayor, he still had 2 years left or half his term left. So someone needs to fill that seat. There were a couple options. One was a special election. However, a special election is very costly. And then by the end of the special election, that person would have probably maybe like 11 months to even serve. So the most efficient way was to do some kind of appointment process. If you want, you can check out the video I did on explaining that appointment process, and you can also see the meeting and where they interviewed all the candidates to include Mr. Yama sitting here. He was one of 6 candidates that day, and he was selected. And you can check that out on YouTube on lospanos.org on the city YouTube channel. So my next question is, why did you apply for city council?
Well, that's a very good question. First of all, it's because of the time. And a little background is that I had run for this position or this seat in 2 previous elections. One when it was still at large with the whole city voting for the council members, and then once when it was by district only. So I ran not so much because I felt that somebody was doing a bad job or otherwise. I just wanted to be involved with running of the city. I wanted to introduce different topics, different ideas that I thought that weren't being circulated, that weren't being discussed during the campaigns. So that got me more involved, and I got a good level of support. Some key folks out there that encouraged me to do it again, and that encouraged me, motivated me to apply now. And that concurrent with the fact that I had I been elected the last election cycle, I would have retired from the Marine Corps. As such, I was not elected, and I was able to do a couple of administrative tasks, some things that are required for promotion, and then I was promoted, and I was able to enlist for another 2 years, past my service limitations of 20. Now I'm nearing that end again, and I'm going to be retiring now for sure. There's no other options for me because there's only so much time you can serve at a certain rank. And I've achieved that, and I've accomplished a great few things in the Marine Corps that I've wanted to, and I never thought I would be able to. And now that has allowed me to again devote myself to this process, this endeavor. So I really want to participate in the process of policy making, of improving our city, continuing those projects that have been laid down by previous council members, mayors, and ensure that the monies are well spent, that we're maximizing the revenues and allocating them to the greatest need. And so those are some of the reasons why I decided to apply.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So I have a few follow-up questions to ask you based on your response just now, and it actually kind of ties into my next question. So I was going to ask you, what issues facing Los Banos are you most concerned with or most passionate about trying to fix? But in your statement just now, you basically said that you felt that there were certain issues that weren't being talked about or brought up at the council meetings that you wanted to bring in. So I wanted to ask you, what are some, could you give us an example, or what are some of those type issues that you wanted to bring up?
Well, one of the major items was the lack of industry, higher paying jobs. As you know, here in Los Banos and Merced County in general, we have a very low, a lot of families are struggling because of they're below the poverty line. And I think that more can be done to bring in larger businesses instead of the restaurants, which is fine. We like variety in our dining. However, these don't support or make it very difficult to support and raise a family, much less buy a house. And so I wanted to speak about those things. You know, what can we do as a city to let these corporations, these entrepreneurs, these folks that want to expand know that Los Mines is open and ready. And one of those things is to build, say, a business park, expand our thoroughfares, to move more easily move people, goods, and services throughout the city. Right now, we have a congestion in 152, which is our main route from east to west. And that, I think, should have been addressed a long time ago because it creates more smog, delays in traffic, destroys our roads. People take side street roads to try to bypass the traffic. And that affects ultimately the businesses on that route because people are avoiding it, and so it's kind of so there's a lot of problems there, and that adds to our revenue sources. And if we don't have those revenue sources, then we can't pay certain employees maybe a better wage or give them more incentives as to stay here and not go to other agencies or other cities.
So to summarize, it sounds like two of the issues that seem important to you would be bringing in higher paying jobs, maybe more industry, and the second would be dealing with the infrastructure. In other words, the congestion, the road congestion along 152. Those two issues sounded like those are two of the issues that you're passionate about or feel like need addressing. If I
Right.
okay.
And that, goes back to why I initially ran. Those things I think that weren't being properly planned out for, I grew up in San Jose, and for many years, over 10, 15 years maybe, there were these unfinished bridges over the 280 and 101. I didn't know why they were there. But eventually, now we all go on there and go from 101 north onto 280 westbound, etc. And the city planners thought 15, 20, 30 years down the road, and they knew that they needed to improve their infrastructure, their movement of goods, services, and people. Because that ultimately attracts more business and attracts more the excitement of the facility of moving to and from different destinations within a city. And I think that we need to start looking at those long-term planning processes, and I think we're starting to do that. And those again, some of the reasons why I moved here, and there are all the reasons. The parks. I'm very passionate about parks, about our streets, and about criminal activity in general.
Thank you for taking the time to answer that question. So my next question is, what kind of skills, assets, or just in general, what do you feel like you bring to the table to the city council?
Well, that's a very good question. You ask yourself, okay, am I really the best person for this position? And the answer is unequivocally not. There are folks who are eminently more qualified than I am, but one of the reasons why they're not doing it is because they are so qualified and so successful in the fields that they're doing business, management, entrepreneurs, etc. But I think that I have a combination of experiences again with business management, having owned a business entrepreneur, and working with logistics, moving of goods, services, and people. So I think that background and my wide background of having done these things for a long period of time, I think those things will help and can and will be a benefit to the city council as it moves forward.
Great. All right. So, Mr. Llamas, is there anything else you'd like to tell the people of Los Banos?
Well, yes, Justin, thank you for the opportunity. I just want to say and reassure folks that I do take this obligation that I entered very seriously. I hope to gain your trust, to gain your friendship, and I'm going to work diligently to do the things that I've talked about to help improve the lives and the environment here in Los Banos, to help reduce recidivism, especially in our police department. That's a high task, but I think it's essential. Crime reduction equals better economic environment for businesses. Again, you can reach me if you like at my Los Banos website, City of Los Banos. It's Refugio, my first name, Llamas at losbanos.org. Feel free to contact me. Please feel to contact me if you see me on the street or wherever. If you have questions for me, I'm always open to entertain any item that you like to talk about or share with me, because it's important that as a representative form of government that we have here, that the needs of the people be presented. Otherwise, we may be going in the wrong direction. And so again, I'm open and willing to speak to anyone on any topic at any time. Thank you very much.
All right. And thank you very much for coming on and doing this interview. I appreciate it. If you haven't already, please like, follow, subscribe to Los Banos Talk. We have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and of course, losbanostalk.com. Once again, my name is Justin Collins, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.